What's up guys, it is Chris back with another video. Today we're doing something a little bit different than we normally do here on my channel. My wife has put together a couple of watches that she wants to get my reactions to. Now, I'm usually aware of all the new releases that are coming out. However, she thinks she's picked a few that I may not know about. I have a list of watches right here. They are all new releases. I have some photos to look at as well. So you'll get my reaction on how it looks as well as price and things like that. The first watch on this list, I don't even need to look at it, is a Porsche Design collaboration with Hodinkee. I love Porsche Design. I'm not a huge fan of Hodinkee. However, I do think they make some great collaboration watches. And this one I saw when it came out and I immediately thought, wow, that chronograph one looks great. This is a limited edition of 350 watches. It gets a black dial, patinaed lume. You get that vintage Porsche Design logo on the dial. I love that. I'm a big Porsche fan. I think I've made that clear on this channel. I've said that many times. I really like this watch. The date is in Japanese and in English. That's a detail that I'm not sure from the original. I don't think the original had that original chronograph one, because this is a reissue. I think they're doing that for the Japanese market, which is kind of cool actually. I really like that, and Porsche is very popular in Japan as well. You have that red chrono seconds hand. It looks great. Again, it's in titanium with a titanium carbide coating. This is in black. I really like the look of this watch. It does get a movement that is a little bit weird. It's the Work 0L140. That is a Valjoux 7750. If you're not familiar with it, it's just a reworked Valjoux 7750. It's a nice movement. It's just a reworked 7750. They've used this movement in other watches, at least Porsche Design has. And this watch is coming in at $9,650. That is very expensive. I'm actually pretty blown away by that price. Almost $10,000 with a 7750 in it. That is really, really expensive. I guess because it's limited to 350 watches, maybe that's the reason why, but that seems like a lot of money for a watch that has a 7750 in it. I think the originals, when they originally came out, were maybe around $1,000, maybe $2,000. I don't even think they were that expensive. This is a lot of money for a Porsche Design in general. I think this is a lot of money. Next watch on this list is a Panerai. Kind of makes sense because my wife did work for Panerai. This is a submersible. It's called the Elux Lab ID. It's a very large watch. I know this is a very large watch, and I have the specs here. I would imagine this is around a 50 millimeter watch. But I just, I don't know why they're still making watches this large. I don't see people out there asking for watches this large, but for some reason, Panerai insist on making watches in that 50 millimeter range still. This is the PAM 01800. It's powered by a light. So this is actually very cool. There is a button on the side of the watch. It's called the Elux Power Light ID. And at 6 o'clock, there is a button. You press that button, there's a rechargeable battery that actually charges this light, and it illuminates the dial. There's lume on the hands and the indices, so essentially this helps it glow, I guess. It only lasts for a half hour, but really you don't need it for much longer than that. I'm not sure how often you would actually have to charge it and all that jazz, but it seems like a really cool idea. There are other brands who have done this. I think Luminox actually have done this, if I'm correct. I will put a picture of that watch up. It's not an incredibly good looking watch, but I think it had a mechanical movement with an electric or battery powered light that actually powered the, there was lume also, but also powered a little LED light within the watch. Casio did it also, but that is a digital watch, so that kind of makes sense. This is in a gray blue color. It gets a TI ceramic case, so it's, I guess, titanium and ceramic. So the case, the strap, the bezel, all of that is in a gray blue color. There's lime green accents on this watch, which kind of looks a little bit cheesy in my opinion, but what do I know? That's for the switch at the 8 or 9 o'clock position. It says Elux on it. I'm not sure I really like that name. And then, of course, on the crown protector, it says some other things, and it's in a lime green color. I think before I said that the button was at 6 o'clock. That's actually a power reserve. It's a power light indicator. So that's what that's at the 6 o'clock. It's like a power reserve for that light. This does come in at a whopping 49 millimeters. However, oh my God, I just saw the price at the bottom of the page. $97,000. Who is buying this for $97,000? I can't even, I'm speechless. Why is this a $100,000 watch? It looks like a $20,000 Panerai that would end up selling for $10,000 on the secondary market. Why in the world would this be $97,000? Who the hell is buying a 49 millimeter $97,000 Panerai right now? That is mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Okay, well, after that last one, I don't know if you can get any better than this, but I do see on this page, Carl F. Bucherer. I actually took a look at this when it came out. It's a Carl F. Bucherer Hodinkee limited edition. It's a Worldtimer. Now, again, I'm not a huge fan of Hodinkee, but I like Hodinkee. I'm not, one of those people who, said Hodinkee got me into collecting, or that did not happen. However, I will say that their limited editions that they do, I feel that they're thought out very well. They do some really good designs that are vintage inspired, and they're kind of restrained in a way. So some of them have Hodinkee on the dial. I don't like that. However, this is a really good limited edition that they are doing with Carl F. Bucherer. And this, I think, is a reissue of a vintage Worldtimer that Carl F. Bucherer came out with a long time ago in the 1970s. This looks great in my opinion. I really love this. I love the bracelet that this is coming on. It's a multi-link bracelet that looks phenomenal on here. It has straight ends, so it's not molded to the case. So it looks very vintage. Just a beautiful, beautiful bracelet. I like the script that they used for the cities, everything. There's a blue inner dial, and then there's an outer dial that's also blue, so that world time portion is blue. That's separated by a 24-hour ring that's in stainless steel, and it has a little crescent moon at the 12 o'clock, at the 6 o'clock. It has a little sun, I think, or it could be a moon. Really nice. And this is powered by one of Carl F. Bucherer's best movements. It's that peripheral rotor movement that they make. It's in-house to Carl F. Bucherer, and the price on this is $7,500. How is this watch cheaper than the Porsche Design watch that gets a Valjoux 7750? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. This actually is pretty well priced, even though it seems kind of expensive. It's pretty well priced at $7,500. This is a really good looking watch, and it gets a lot of great details in my opinion. I really like this watch. I would love to own this watch. It is, in my opinion, a very, very good looking watch at a good price. This is not by any means cheap, but it's a very good price. Next is a watch that just recently came out. This is the Bulova Lunar Pilot Blood Moon, a red dial version of the Bulova Lunar Pilot in 43.5 millimeters. It gets the high frequency quartz. It comes in well under $1,000. This one is on a bracelet. It gets a red dial with silver subdials, so it's almost like a red panda dial type thing. I don't know what the hell you would call it. $895, a watch that went to the moon, now with a blood moon dial. They're starting to do some more limited editions. Recently they came out with a meteorite dial. I actually bought that watch because I thought it was really cool, and the fact that it came in grade 5 titanium and all this other stuff. Great watches. This is a great watch. I think this is a very good price for a watch that has history behind it. And obviously there's watches out there like the MoonSwatch that are going for $300 and change. Those are disposable. This is a watch that you could wear for basically the rest of your life. It's a very reliable watch. I really like this watch at $895. I wish they came down a little bit smaller in these, eventually coming down to 40 millimeters. I think that's the next step for this watch. Even though that 43.5 millimeter is what they originally came in, it would be great if these were in 40 millimeter. Also offering all three sizes. That's something that I think the Speedmaster currently don't do. This would be very, very cool. Okay, so speaking of moon watches, we're talking about the MoonSwatch Mission to the Moon. This is the latest version of this watch. It is the Super Blue Moon phase. I actually really like this watch. It gets a silver white opaline dial. You have those blue sub-registers, and then you have two moons instead of a Snoopy, because that's what they were doing with the Mission to Moon before. They had Snoopies on the dial. They came out with a white and a black. This one is in blue, and it gets two moons. This is actually very good looking. $310, like I was saying before. You're still getting the bioceramic mess of a case and all of that stuff, plastic, crystal, but this is good looking. This Blue Moon version is really a very, very good looking watch. And I love the combination of that opaline white, the blue panda, everything about this I think is a really good looking watch. In fact, I don't know why they haven't come out with a version like this in the regular MoonWatch lineup. Why'd they have to make it into a MoonSwatch? Maybe this is the first MoonWatch or MoonSwatch that will inspire a MoonWatch. Who knows? I don't know. But this is a really nice watch, and I really like the look of it for $310. I might be online waiting for this on the 1st. We'll see. Probably not. Well, I don't know. I can't say no. I definitely want to own one, though. And this is going to only be available at nighttime, like after 5 p.m., at certain Swatch locations from the 1st of August to the 16th, I want to say, or 14th, something like that. 19th. It's something weird. They're doing something a little bit different, maybe extending their hours, being able to sell more watches when people should be sleeping. I don't know. Okay, so we're coming to the end of this list, and this could be one of my favorite watches on this list. Next to the Karl F. Bucherer, I think that's probably my favorite on the list with the Hodinkee limited edition Worldtimer. That's definitely my favorite on the list. This might be a tie or in second place. It's the Fulan Marri Disco Volante. I love this watch. I think this is a really good looking watch. The green dial is probably my favorite. They're saying this is like a 38 millimeter case. It's in pre-order right now, and it comes in at $2,780. Now, I didn't know the price before. I didn't really go into too much detail. I think that's a good price. I think that's actually a good price for what you're getting here. I know the details on the watch. I never considered buying it, but I bought a lot of other watches in this price range this year that haven't been delivered yet. And actually, one that's on my wrist, one has been delivered. This is the Toledano and Chan B1 that I absolutely love. So this is around a $4,000 watch. So this is in that realm, around there, and I really do like it. I think it's kind of in the same genre of this watch, weird case shape, inspired by vintage watches, inspired by disc watches from, the 1970s and even really earlier than that. You can see them on eBay. They go for all different prices. I think this is actually a pretty good price that they're going with here. And you're getting a Puceau 7001, which is a manual wind movement that's very similar to an ETA movement, the 7001 from ETA. However, they're actually hand finishing this in Geneva, which does add a lot to the price here. And again, considering the price, it's really, again, not all that bad. 4-part dial that has lume, so it's almost a sandwich dial. There's lume in between. I'm not sure exactly if it's that legible in the dark. I think the hands are lume, none of the numerals are. But you have a very weird dial that's segmented. You have a small seconds, which again, I absolutely love. And that disc case, 38 millimeters. Looks kind of small, maybe, but it could work with a case like this, depending on how the lugs are. The lugs are kind of hidden, but you also have a hidden crown. So the crown is sort of nestled into the case itself. There's a lot of little details that I like about this watch. You could also see the movement. Again, I really like that because they actually finished the movement, so you could see it. That makes a lot of sense to me. Fulan Marri are obviously trying to move up market with a lot of their watches, starting out with watches that had only mecha quartz movements, but now they're coming out with watches that are obviously a little bit higher end than that. They came out with a perpetual calendar. They've come out with other things, but those are actually not for sale. This is actually for sale. They came out with an automatic version that is currently on sale on their website, and I think they are using a Le Joux Pareil in that watch, and that was around $1,200. So this is yet another step up in price, but also a big step up in quality because you're actually getting a hand finish movement, which is pretty damn good. Anyway, guys, that's really it. These are the watches that she chose. I think these are really great watches. These are all new releases. They literally, all of these came out in the last 2 or 3 weeks. And a lot of these watches are watches that I definitely am interested in. I already knew about them, most of the details here, maybe not all the pricing and things like that, but all of these are very, very impressive. And like I said, my favorites out of the bunch, obviously I really like that Porsche Design. I don't like it for the price. I think the Panerai is kind of silly, and I think it's very silly for the price, and I'm not sure who's actually buying something like that. However, the Fulan Marri, the MoonSwatch, the Blood Moon from Bulova, and of course, my favorite, the Worldtimer, the Karl F Bucherer Hodinkee Worldtimer. All of these watches are watches that I would love to own. I think they're great looking watches and very well made from each one of those brands. I really would not complain about getting any of those watches. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. Would you buy that 49mm Panerai for $97,000 plus? I mean, with tax, it's over $100,000. I cannot imagine. I don't know who's buying it. I just don't. It blows my mind. Anyway, tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of these watches? What do you think of these releases? I want to know your opinions. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. Super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.